Again, the 1-800-GENOCIDE number is fantastic because it's region by region. Also, just write to us, and we're pretty good about responding. And again, if there are ways that you want to use the phone in your communities after it leaves New York City, please stay in touch with us. Another final thing is that yesterday there was a congressional resolution that was passed. I mean, there are things that are happening. That's a sanctions-driven resolution. But again, we need to make it a priority.
I was thinking about the film is that we've cut a 10-minute version that we're using to educate the Olympic athletes so that they can be articulate and put pressure on China in the Beijing Olympics. And I think we just learned that Spielberg may pull out of being the artistic director of the Olympics unless something changes in China.
Yeah, I was up in New York about a month ago and had a 5-hour meeting with Steven Spielberg and me and another five or so other individuals that were advising him on his role in the Olympics and how he can use it to best leverage the Chinese. It's a very effective leverage tool. As we mentioned here, the Chinese are the ones that are buying the oil. They have a tremendous amount of influence over the Sudanese government, and if we can influence them using the Olympics, then hopefully they'll be able to influence Sudan. Just yesterday, 2 days ago, it was, I guess, 2-3 days ago, I was down, up in the city, and with a number of councilmen that had put a proposal forward that all companies that are sponsors of the Olympics in Beijing that are operating here in New York City, that they engage the Chinese on ending the genocide or themselves pull out if an engagement doesn't work. And those are NBC, GE, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, these big companies that are based here, the headquarters. And so that's a great proposal, and hopefully some of those companies will take it seriously.
Yeah, part of what I want to say is a statement commending both you and the filmmakers, but I guess it becomes a question because what I noticed while I was watching the film was, and how I was affected was how exposing it was, and you, sir, being this character in this story that wants anything but the attention and almost trying to get out of the way of it and yet facilitate it. And I was watching you carefully during the interviews and stuff, and all that you were dealing with, being a part of it, and feeling guilty and so forth, and the filmmakers, captured that. It was uncomfortable. I guess I'm concerned or have questions. How do you deal with that? Because obviously there's a lot of media attention, and you have your part to play to facilitate, and yet you, the man, I get from you, my impression is that you want anything but, you almost, the conflict of interest is that, boy, you wish you could turn an eye or an ear. And now, you can't. And how do you keep yourself?
Yeah,
now you have this balancing act that...
Yeah, no, and they got that very well. It was probably hard for them to just give you a little bit of it, because I was, they're like, hey, we need to do this one more thing. We need you to say it. I'm like, dude, this isn't about me. Some of the hardest filming we did was in Rwanda when we're at the 12th anniversary, the commencement ceremonies, where there were 200,000 Rwandans that are bringing out their family members they're being buried in these mass graves, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them that they're still finding in their rose gardens or in their latrines or wherever. They had these coffins with up to 35 bodies in them, and they're burying them and they're walking these roses. You get a camera crew following me around. I'm one of 10